Welcome back. We're discussing speed cameras with John Robson, who's himself a victim, can we say, of receiving 4 speeding tickets by these speed cameras. Perhaps you yourself watching at home have received one of these tickets in the mail. Shocked, probably not aware there was a camera or that this was even a thing. And again, John, I appreciate that you gave us a bit of historical context as to where these first came from. So, and we're going to get on to your other cases, but was there a precedent? Was there a surge, a groundswell saying we need more traffic enforcement? There are too many speeders on the road. We need to use new tools.
If there was, I never heard of it. I mean, this is the sheriff of Nottingham in a stolen safety vest, right? This is the government criminalizing normal behavior in order to get more money from the citizens than it already takes. And taxes are at a very high level in Canada. There's a share of GDP. And we usually Doug Ford, oh, taxes are too high. It's like, yeah, you're the Premier of Ontario. Why don't you lower them? Blah, 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 blah. Usual politician guff. But it's if the roads are conspicuously unsafe, get the officers out there pulling over the people who are driving dangerously.
Like
because,
they do this on long weekends, right? There are these long weekend police blitzes, but the police are present. They're a visible part of the community. They're from the community. It's a visible action.
Yeah, and if they're doing one of those things where they're checking if you have your seatbelt on and whether you are all liquored up at 10 in the morning, I don't resent that. I definitely would, the seatbelt thing, my libertarian self says, it's sort of your own lookout if you don't wear a seatbelt. But, if they're looking for drunk drivers and that kind of thing, that's fine by me. And again, the stunt drivers, people going 40, 50 over, I have no sympathy for them, even if they're caught with a photo radar. Mm-hmm. But it's when they're nailing us for doing what everybody's doing, like this thing in Waterloo, where they have this dream that they can increase the number of tickets they give out by a factor of 10. Their plan basically is to give everybody who drives at least 1 ticket a year. So does that mean that all Canadians are reckless bad drivers? If so, there'd be carnage on the highways. We're not. If anything, we're so timid that if you have to merge lanes, this just happened to me on the 400, it backs up the traffic for 50 miles because everybody's inching forward instead of going, okay, you go, I go, he goes, she goes. But
that wasn't actually, if you don't mind pausing there. So on the 401, you actually highlighted this in your piece that there were 2 individuals who went 100 side by side on the 401, which is like the largest freeway in North America. What happened to them? They went the limit.
Oh, they got nasty tickets for blocking traffic.
Going the limit.
Frankly, yeah, so you couldn't drive at the limit and you couldn't not drive at the limit, right? Everything is forbidden even if it is permitted. Eventually that was overturned, but the lesson was do not dream of pointing out that our rules are stupid or we will come down on you like a ton of bricks. And frankly, I wish the police would sometimes ticket the slow drivers because the people who frustrate other people, the people when you've got a long drive, let us say on Highway 7, just hypothetically, and the speed limit's 80 and some clown's going 75 and they've got 30 cars behind them. This prompts people to do things like attempt dangerous passes. This is genuinely dangerous driving through an excess of caution. I don't mind if they want to get people for that, but if you're really going to ticket people for going 12 kilometers over the limit, you can't also ticket them for driving at the limit.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
Also I've been in parts of New England where the speed limit is 50 miles an hour on a highway that you wouldn't want to go any faster, even on a sunny, dry day. And those kind of limits are reasonable, but Canada has such good highways where the limit is 80 here. It should almost always be 90. And again, you look at people driving, say, on the 400, and I've seen, police officers going 120 on the 400, just da-da-da-da-da. If the speed limit were 120, they wouldn't be going 140. They'd be going at 120 because that's a good, safe speed, and Canadians are not, by and large, morons. And by all means, pull over the morons. But this idea instead that we will just turn normal conduct into criminal conduct for the money, because it is about the money. And that's why I'm fighting these tickets, by the way, not because I think I'm going to win. Ha ha ha. You have no hope of winning. In fact, they increase the fine if you fight the ticket. And they say, this is not intended as a deterrent.
So if you fight and you lose, which is likely based on precedent.
It's 100% certainty.
100% certainty. So your fine then increases.
Yes. And they say it's not meant as a deterrent. So I say, okay, why don't you try this? Tell people if they fight and lose, they'll get a discount and see what proportion of people fight their tickets. Like this insults the intelligence on top of everything else. But the point is they're not going to make a profit off me on these tickets because government being so inefficient, you can imagine how much it costs them to run these courts. So if everybody who gets one of these things goes in and fights and loses, but takes up the time, then if it's a real safety measure, they'll be like, well, it was worth it because we're protecting the world from people like you. But if it was just an attempt to rob us blind, it will fail and they'll stop. So we all need to fight this at the ballot box, but fight it also in the witness box. Just go in there and say, Your Honor, I think this is an unreasonable use of the power of the state, and if you really think it's worthwhile, I'm going to make you spend hundreds of dollars to collect this $80 fine.
Wow. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk about if there's any evidence of effectiveness or safety when it comes to speed cameras. We'll be right back.